Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are you?
A little cold, to be honest.
Me too. Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club, the show where we're two friends who care about each other, right?
No comment.
I'm Mike.
I'm not.
And this week, we're looking at a game that I didn't know anything about. What did you know about it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I can't even say I knew its name.
I can't even say I really knew it existed. But
I certainly didn't.
it's 30 years old this year.
30 years old?
Yep. And it had an OVA one time.
Cue us appearing in this episode.
I wanted to say play the theme song, but there's no theme song.
No, but there's an ending song and I'm so excited.
Okay. You said cue us appearing in this episode.
Yes.
You just mean us recording this right now?
I mean, of course there's an OVA. Why would we be doing an episode if there wasn't an OVA?
Okay. I was just making sure I hadn't missed a joke. But
No, we were both present in this OVA. I was Chaos, and you were that old man with the claws.
Oh yeah, Gaia?
Yeah, no, not Gaia, Foe.
Oh, that guy. Okay, alright, fine. I see what you really think of me.
That you love delighting the children with your mystical games.
Well, we'll wait until I'm gonna tell you some things about Foe.
Listen, I don't know anything about any of these characters. You can't be reading into this.
I know.
I barely even know their names.
So,
What
yeah,
is Battle Arena Toshinden?
there's no theme song for this show. The way it opened felt cinematic. Like a grown-up cinematic movie opening to me.
It definitely felt like an edgy 80s anime about war and destruction with fighting battle robots.
Yes. So the game, Battle Arena Toshinden, was released for the PlayStation in 1995. It was developed by Tamsoft.
I'm sorry, the PlayStation 1 is 30 years old?
Yes.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Wait till you hear how old the Super Nintendo is.
Don't!
It was published by Takara, who I think Takara basically had the idea and then contracted Tamsoft to make it, because Tamsoft were mostly known for contract work. We talked about Takara last week.
Yeah?
Because Takara Tomy also made Pretty Rhythm.
Alright.
This was their first original video game. They had published games before. This was the first one that they made from scratch. And Tamsoft, who got their start doing a Game Boy port of Samurai Showdown for Takara a year before this.
I remember Samurai Showdown.
Yeah. Tamsoft also made a bunch of games for D3 Publishers' Simple series, which was a series of cheap budget games. There's 3 different series that Tamsoft worked on. Simple 1500, Simple 2000, and Simple 2500. And they are named for their price in yen.
Oh!
So the Simple 2000 series were just a bunch of games that all cost 2,000 yen, and they were designed to be, short, simple, cheap things.
Right.
But it sounds like they're pretty popular, and apparently the series is making a comeback for the Switch, so
Wow.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them have made it outside of Japan. Tamsoft were also the creators of One-chan-bara, Senran Kagura, and Dream Club.
I've heard of one of those.
Which one have you heard of?
Senran Kagura.
Okay. One-chan-bara, I believe, has a movie for us to watch at some point. Dream Club is a dating simulator. That's all I really know about them. I think One-chan-bara is about a girl who fights zombies, I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
So Toshinden is a weapons-based fighter very much like Samurai Showdown, in a 3D arena, very much like Virtua Fighter. So
yeah, watching this OVA, I was like, this kind of feels like every other fighting show we've watched.
yeah, I would say it's not particularly original. It's
No.
very clearly, you know, Takara published the Game Boy version of Samurai Showdown, and then it just felt like they were like, if we made our own Samurai Showdown, we can keep all the money. and that's what I feel like this was.
Yeah.
It was developed as a PlayStation exclusive, and outside of Japan, it was released as a launch title for the PlayStation.
Oh.
And in the US, it was promoted as a Saturn killer, because it was like, this is the game that's going to beat Virtua Fighter.
Once and for all, Akira, you're going down!
Why do we keep coming across all these games that are designed specifically to take down Virtua Fighter?
I don't know, it's just so mind-boggling, because Virtua Fighter is not the first fighting game I would think of if you asked me to name a fighting game.
No.
But apparently, he was out for everyone's blood.
I think it's more that everyone was out for his blood. You know, at least Tekken kind of out-survived Virtua Fighter. Toshinden did not.
No.
In fact, although it was promoted in the US as a Saturn killer, it was eventually ported to the Saturn, and the Saturn version has a lot of extra features.
And then it killed the Saturn.
It also got ported to the PC, where they added Earthworm Jim as a playable character.
I saw a screenshot, and I thought it was fake.
I'm so glad. No, that's real. That's the PC version. You thought someone just modded him in?
Yes.
Someone did. It was the developers of the PC version.
I thought I was looking at like a Mugen where you just put whoever you want in it.
The characters in this game were designed by Tsukasa Kotobuki, who is known for Saber Marionette J and Cyber Team in Akihabara, as well as other things. It's a pretty popular manga guy. But what I found really interesting was the box art for the European version of the game.
Yeah.
Which was illustrated by Paul Kidby, known for the Discworld covers.
Oh.
He was the second illustrator of Discworld covers, and my personal favourite. His cover for this game has nothing to do with it. Apparently he was given, like, no reference to work with. So he drew kind of like an emblem. It has a knight that kind of looks like Gaia on it, and then there's like a huge sword, and there's a dragon and a scorpion.
Are you going to show me?
Oh, you want to see it?
Yes, I want to see it.
Oh, it didn't occur to me, to be honest. Hold on.
Oh my god.
There it is.
All right. That looks nothing like what we watched.
No.
I like it.
I like how there's blood dropping from the scorpion's stinger.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't feel...
It feels like I'm about to play a Final Fantasy.
You can tell that they didn't really tell him what the game was, and he apparently has said that. So Toshinden is a criminal underworld fighting tournament held by a shady conglomerate and broadcast as blood sport for the elite to watch.
Okay.
So it's a fighting game Squid Game, basically.
I guess.
It sold well, this first game, and ended up getting 3 sequels, as well as a handful of spin-offs, including a puzzle game and a card game.
Ooh.
That's a video game card game, not a physical card game.
Oh, I assumed.
But ultimately, the Toshinden series was overshadowed by Tekken.
Damn it, Tekken.
Which is really funny. It's really funny to me that these are both franchises that were created to compete with Virtua Fighter, and Tekken was overshadowed by Virtua Fighter, and Toshinden was overshadowed by both.
Yeah, in the real life Toshinden battle arena, Toshinden lost.
Yes.
And Tekken it beat Toshinden, but then I guess in the end Tekken did win. It outlasted Virtua Fighter anyway.
That's true. Yeah. Well, maybe it came back in another tournament and won.
True. In the initial tournament, Akira Yuki, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. the Toshinden series kind of petered out around 1999. There's only one game that's been released since 1999, and that was a Japan-only Wii game in 2009, which had no story connection to the previous games and all new characters.
Was it a card battler?
No, it was a fighting game, but I don't think it was weapons-based, so I really don't know why they even called it Toshinden. It's kind of nothing to do with it in general. They're just trying to coast off the name, I think.
Right, off of the massive popularity of Battle Arena Toshinden.
So this is the Battle Arena Toshinden OVA, released as 2 tapes in Japan, 2 episodes. This first one released on June 21st, 1996. And it's mostly based on the events of Battle Arena Toshinden 2, which was released in arcades in November 1995, so about 7 months before this came out.
Yeah, I've noticed all of these fighting game shows it's always about like the second and the third game. And so if you haven't been a fan of the series, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it was very similar with Samurai Showdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, or Tekken even.
Well, the Tekken one was weird because it was a combination of the first and second games.
Yeah.
Because this one's very clearly based on the second one, and Samurai Showdown that we watched was very clearly based on the N64 game. But the Tekken one, it was a beginning of the story. It was combining elements of the first 2 games into one storyline. I
was still confused.
Yeah. But I think that had more to do with the way it was presented rather than the Tekken one was presented as though like someone who didn't know anything should be able to pick it up. It just didn't do a very good job.
Right.
But this one we're supposed to know things. So don't worry, I looked up all the things and I'll explain them to you. This was produced by Animate Film, a subsidiary of Animate, which is the largest retailer of anime, manga, and video games in Japan.
Whoa!
They have 118 stores in Japan, 4 in China, 3 in Taiwan, 2 in Thailand, 1 in South Korea, and 1 in California.
Nice!
And their mascot, Animate's mascot, Anime Tensho, has been in a lot of things. They starred in an OVA produced by Gainax, also had a crossover with Toho Project.
Why?
I don't know.
What is this thing?
Apparently they also made appearances in Lucky Star, Disgaea 4, and Touch My Katamari.
Why would I touch it?
Well, it's big.
That's not a good enough reason.
You telling me if you saw a Katamari you wouldn't touch it? Because I would.
No, you'll get stuck in it, and then he'll just roll over you.
What if it
over and over?
It was a little tiny one.
He'll come back when he can roll you up and turn you into a star.
He's going to bounce off me at first, and I'm just going to wiggle a little bit. Rock back and forth.
What was the Toho crossover?
It was an animated project, apparently.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
Oh. Well, I just found it on the Lost Media wiki, so...
Oh, no.
I guess it's not very well preserved. Apparently it came out in 2010. Here's a poster for it.
Yeah, those are Toho's.
Yeah, and that's Anime Tensho in the middle.
I just need to know why.
Looks like he's an employee of the store. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this show. Okay,
but now I'm looking at the Anime Tensho Toho project thing on my anime list.
Yeah? Finding anything interesting?
No, not particularly. Shown at the 2010 Animate Ichiyoshi Bishoujo Anime Matsuri.
I wonder if that's the only place it was shown and it was never actually released on home video or anything, and that's why it's lost.
Maybe.
Anyway, because I know Japan aren't great about releasing things on home media a lot of the time. There's a ton of DVDs even that have only ever been released as rentals officially.
Yeah.
So it can be hard to get your hands on things.
Lost? ? Actually, it was screened more than once. It was screened in, I'm not going to read that, related spots between the 23rd of November and the 25th of December 2010, with tight security in the sense of not recording.
Huh.
Also was a planned release on DVD scheduled in 2011, only it never happened, most likely for legal reasons.
Huh, that's a shame.
You can see the storyboards in a book.
So it's lost media because they were just like so overprotective of it before it released, and then they never released it.
Yeah.
Wah wah.
Oh, darn.
I guess the only hope of it coming to light is if an employee finds it and releases it online.
Trips over it in an old warehouse.
Yeah. So anyway, this show opens with a peace treaty being signed on a warship out in the ocean.
Yeah, it really throws us in the middle of
something that just doesn't come up again.
No! And it's like a big event! And then a man just shows up and undoes everything!
It's really odd. Yeah, like the president is being evacuated because there's a guy just destroying all the ships and stuff.
The most flat-haired Sephiroth I've ever seen in my life.
We're not even told what countries these are.
Presumably Japan.
Well, no, I was guessing like America and Russia because they're talking about a Cold War being ended.
Well, there's the Cold War and a Cold War.
Exactly. And since we're told nothing about any of this, and it doesn't come up again for the rest of the episode, we're just kind of left wondering what this was about.
Are those countries okay? Is the peace treaty still in effect?
Did the president make it? Like, it sure seemed like everybody there was killed, which would include the president. But nobody,
We just don't really need to know about this international incident.
I like how our main characters somehow get more news about a little Chinese old man getting attacked in the street than they do about the president being attacked.
They know about all of the former competitors getting harassed, but this isn't that big of an incident, I guess.
They don't care about politics.
No, they only care about fighting.
So yeah, this guy who's destroying everything here is Sho, who was the secret final boss of the first game.
Secret final boss.
To get to him, you had to beat hard mode without using any continues. Or actually, I saw some conflicting things about that, because some places said you had to beat hard mode, and other places said that you could do it on normal mode as well. It sounded like...
Maybe it varied. Did this get ported, you said?
Yeah.
Or is it just the one? It could vary between the ports.
It could, yeah, I suppose. Sho Shindo, played by Bin Shimada, who we've talked about before. In fact, I'm very happy about this episode because 90% of the cast are people we already know, which meant not too much work for me on the research front. But we've talked about Bin Shimada before because he played Boko in Sonic X. That
means nothing to me.
Boko was one of Eggman's 2 robot sidekicks in Sonic X.
Oh.
I'm not sure which one he is, but there was the tall, thin gold one and the short, squat silver one.
Sure.
Boko's one of those 2. In English, he was played by Chris Yates, who played King Kashue in Record of Lodos War, and Gren in Ira Zeiram the Animation, and Junpei in Batobi CPU. He also showed up as a keyboard player in an episode of Tim and Eric.
What?
Yeah. And he has multiple appearances in different shows as a stilt walker.
Okay.
So he must be skilled on a pair of stilts.
I suppose so.
Yeah, Sho walks out of the fire like a cool guy, and then it tells us the title of the show. And now I'm presuming we cut to China?
It's either China or Chinatown.
Yeah, and Fofai is here, who is Chinese.
Yes.
And he's doing magic tricks for children when he sees Sho watching him from across the street. Fofai is played by Ikuo Nishikawa, who played Kashan in Kashan and Plug in Planet Robot Danguard. Oh, sorry, Planet Robot Danguard Ace.
Oh, thank you for that qualifier.
He was Robbie in Shin Tetsujin 28. He was Taro in Raideen the Brave. Sanshiro in Judo Boy. I don't know what any of those are.
Nope.
But he played Clock King in the Japanese dub of Batman the Animated Series.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
No, but it does to me. It's the only thing that did. So, in English, Foe is played by Kata Cathcart, my least favorite Pokemon voice actor.
Oh no. We can't get away from him.
We talked about him before because he plays Gary and Todd in Pokemon. He will later go on to play James in the period of Pokemon that made me stop watching the English dub. Largely because of him.
Every time he comes up, the beef it resurges.
Mel. Every voice he does is so obnoxious and annoying. And I thought that was great for Gary because Gary's supposed to be obnoxious and annoying.
Right.
But when he plays anyone else, I don't want to hear it.
My voice is obnoxious and annoying, and you put me in a podcast.
I don't think your voice is as obnoxious and annoying as you think it is. In the games, Foe is a kindly traveling magician.
That's cute.
Who lives a double life as a ruthless serial killer.
Oh, that's less cute. I was rooting for you, Foe.
Yeah, that's why when he gets into that back alley, he's like, the only thing I like as much as hearing the laughter of children is seeing these blades covered in blood.
I thought that was just because he was a fighty man and Sho is clearly his enemy.
Oh, he's also a serial killer.
Okay. Well, color me surprised.
So he and Sho have a fight in a back alley, and Sho uses Foe's own attack against him.
What is this madness?
I don't know. But now it's time for us to meet Eiji.
Our spiky-haired shonen protagonist.
Yeah.
I love that he takes off his helmet and his beautiful spiky hair is perfectly preserved.
Well, I don't think that it's perfectly preserved. I think that it's untamed. I think that his hair would do that no matter what, and he can't do anything about it.
He's tried so hard to comb it down, but it just spikes back up like Phoenix's hair.
Yeah, he wants to have hair like his brother, Sho.
No one wants to have hair like that. That has no volume. It is the flattest, saddest hair I've ever seen.
You called him like bad hair Sephiroth, basically.
Flat hair Sephiroth, Sephiroth.
And I was like, oh, he is a complete Sephiroth knockoff. But I'm just now realizing that he predates Sephiroth by like 3 years, so...
Oh no! So Sephiroth is the full-bodied version of Sho.
Yeah.
The voluminous Sho.
So, Eiji Shinjo is played by Tomokazu Seki, who we've also talked about before, because he played Whisper in Yokai Watch.
Oh no! Will Smithsburg?
Yeah, but I don't like Whisper. And in English, he's played by Ted Lewis, who we've also talked about a bunch before. Because he played King DDD and Escargoon in the Kirby anime.
Cool.
He played James for the first 7 episodes of Pokemon.
Cool.
And he played Brock's dad.
The one time we see him before he abandons his children.
No, we saw him when he came back. He's in the show more. Much, much later. Like 3 generations later. He shows up again.
He finally picks up the milk from the supermarket.
So, Eiji has stopped his bike in this desolate wasteland. He takes off his helmet and he remembers the last time he was here a year ago.
He shows up and he's like, yep, still desolate. I'm going to reminisce about it.
Well, no, he says like, it's so desolate now, but then we see the flashback and it's exactly as desolate.
Right. Except before, Gaia was there.
Yeah, that's the difference. What a transformation. He just assumed he's always been standing there.
Right, that's the field that he grew in.
So this flashback is kind of a retconning of the first game's ending.
Uh-oh.
So he's here fighting Gaia, who is the regular final boss of the first game.
If you stink at fighting games like me.
Yeah, if you didn't meet the requirements to fight Sho, then Gaia is the final boss. Gaia is played by Daisuke Gori, who played Heihachi in the Tekken show we looked at.
Oh.
And I guess he just played Heihachi in general, I think. I'm pretty sure he was him in the games too. In English, he's played by Alfred de Butler.
That's like Shelley de Killer.
Yeah, and I think it's a pseudonym because he has no credits besides this one.
I don't want anybody to know that I was associated with this project.
Probably. My guess would be he was a union actor and this was a non-union job.
Oh, that makes sense.
That tends to be the case when pseudonyms are involved.
Right.
So Eiji had entered the tournament searching for his brother Sho, who mysteriously disappeared in the first game. Here, this fight is interrupted by Chaos and his army, which is a retcon that comes from the second game. I feel like it's pretty normal for like fighting game sequels to retcon the ending of the previous game.
Fighting games don't know what they're doing.
No.
And I say that lovingly.
Like,
it's also difficult with fighting games because there's like 17 different endings and they don't always establish what's canon.
You have to wait for the sequel to come up to find out how the previous game ended.
Right.
Yeah, Chaos is played by Fumihiko Tachiki, who was a very prolific actor.
Yeah.
He played Zaraki in Bleach and Vodka in Detective Conan. He was Shinji's dad in Evangelion.
Oh.
He was Taizo in Gintama, Akainu in One Piece. He played both Lieutenant Surge and Ludicolo in Pokemon.
Ludicolo?
Yep.
The Ludicolo?
Yeah, Brock's Ludicolo. He was Kratos in Tales of Symphonia. Now, I know that name is supposed to be pronounced Kratos, but I'm pretty sure in Tales of Symphonia they pronounce it Kratos, which is why I thought it was pronounced Kratos for like 20 years.
Ours is different.
I know him mostly as the Wisp announcer in the Sonic series. For anybody who doesn't know, in any Sonic game that features Wisps, whenever you use a Wisp power, there's a disembodied voice from nowhere that yells the name of the ability. He's also Lexaeus in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
I don't remember which one that is.
No, but now I have to look. Oh, this guy. I'm pretty sure he dies in Chain of Memories or something.
Oh, really?
Or maybe he was in 2. I don't remember.
He's definitely in some of the others because he had a few listings.
Well, yeah, because Kingdom Hearts doesn't know what it's doing either, and people come back from being dead all the time, and they get unnorted. And
you think
like,
the writers
whatever.
just forget which ones they killed and accidentally put them in again?
Well, like, the problem is, I think so many people liked the characters in Organization 13. They're like, shit, we just killed them all.
Yeah.
And then there was, like, Dream Drop Distance, where Axel turned good again and turned back into Lee, and I don't know. Kingdom Hearts is bonkers.
Yeah.
Cuckoo bananas.
As far as dubbing goes, he is the Japanese dub voice for Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He's Mac in the Cars series. That's Lightning McQueen's truck, who carts him around everywhere. And he's the Abominable Snowman in the Monsters, Inc. series.
I didn't know that was the thing.
You didn't know about the Abominable Snowman?
No.
You've seen Monsters, Inc., right?
I saw the first one.
You know, they get banished to the Arctic and...
I haven't seen that movie in like 20 plus years.
Oh, you should watch it again. It's good. In English, Chaos is played by Chris Yates, the same guy who played Sho. So, that's that.
Cool. Cool.
Chaos reveals that Gaia was planning to use the tournament to gather a team of strong warriors to take down the organization running the tournament. And that's the big retcon that the second game made, is that Gaia, who was the villain, turns out was actually running this contest, running this tournament behind the backs of the company that he works for in order to gather a team of strong warriors to take them down.
Yeah, he sounds like a pretty cool dude, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they planned for him to turn out to be a cool dude when they made the first one.
He just was evil until this happened.
Yeah, but Chaos destroys his armor, which is why he, in the second game, doesn't have that armor. Because in the second game, he's just one of the protagonists now.
He's just a shirtless, big buff man.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his armor anymore, so
thus making him shirtless.
Visually, you wouldn't know that it was even the same guy. Unless you were told. Then Gaia runs Chaos through with his big sword.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like gets enveloped in flame. And the flashback ends here. And I'm not sure what happened.
You mean when you die, you don't get enveloped in flame?
Well, he didn't die. He just got enveloped in flame. That's the thing I don't get.
Oh, you're talking about Gaia.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I thought you were talking about Chaos dying, getting enveloped in flame.
They both get enveloped in flame.
Yeah.
With the thing I'm confused about is that Eiji apparently like lost Gaia in this moment. This is where the flashback ends.
Yeah.
But we don't see why he lost. Well, like Gaia was just standing there. There was just fire around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand what you're unclear about. Fire means the battle's over.
And then they both have to walk away.
It was a dramatic scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You pose for a dramatic scene, and then it's understood that the moment is done.
He should have fallen off a cliff or something, in my opinion.
Eiji?
Someone. Something should have happened to separate them.
The fire!
Walk around it, Eiji. God.
It was a big wall! Anyway, now Eiji's boyfriend is here.
Yeah. What was his name? Kayin.
Yeah. Caillou.
He's been waiting for him.
He's like, I didn't want to interrupt your reminiscing.
I've been here the whole time, you know. By the way, Kayin Amo, played by Takehito Koyasu, who played Jade Curtis in the Tales of series, Shingo in King of Fighters, Zeke in Attack on Titan, Gindojima in Food Wars, Shinsuke in Gintama, Dio in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
I know him.
Shigeru in Evangelion, Sarutobi in Sengoku Basara, Snufkin in Moomin.
Ooh.
And the one I say for last, because I know it's the one that's going to excite you the most.
Is it Minky Momo?
No. He was the voice of Bobobo, Bobobo.
The Bobobo.
He's the Bobobo.
Good.
In English, Kayin is played by Hideo Siva, which is apparently a pseudonym of Chris Orbach.
All right. I'm gonna let that one go.
He played Amon in Amon Saga, but his most notable role seemed to be as Detective Ken Briscoe in Law and Order SVU.
I don't remember who that is.
I wouldn't know. I've never watched it, but...
Oh, I watched a lot of SVU back in my day.
Oh, I know you did. I know that about you. He was in a bunch of episodes. He wasn't just a one-episode walk-on, or I wouldn't have noted it.
Right. Oh, I think I remember him. That's a face that I've seen.
Yeah?
I think.
It's definitely a face. I looked at a picture of him.
That's what I've been told.
There's one thing I could say about that man, it's that he had a face. Anyway, Eiji and Kayin have a fight, but it's okay because they're friends.
It's a lover's quarrel.
They were trained together by Sho as children, apparently. But then Sho murdered Kayin's dad.
Whoops.
It's all very dramatic.
It's revealed to us over the grave of Kayin's dad.
Yeah, you know, the show doesn't really give us any details on how this murder went down. And when I was looking at the various wikis that I looked at, I also didn't pick up on any, reasoning for the murder. It was just Sho murdered Kayin's dad, and Kayin wants revenge. I was like, okay.
It was a little bit of a whoopsie.
Kayin, I'm sorry.
It just happened.
I crashed your motorbike. Also, I murdered your dad.
I crashed your motorbike into your father.
But that wouldn't be a murder.
It would be if it was not a real, accident crash. If he intentionally drove it into his father.
That's true. I like the difference. It wasn't manslaughter. It was a murder.
It was vehicular.
There was an accident, but the accident wasn't the part where I killed your father. That part was deliberate.
The accident was when I kept going and ran into the wall.
Which damaged the bike. I'm sorry.
And the wall.
The wall was mine. You owe me money for the wall. Eiji and Kayin fight until sunset and then have a friendly conversation. They're quite sweet. I quite like these two.
That's why they're boyfriends.
Elsewhere, Sho is confronting Mondo, a ninja who was sent into the first tournament to gather info on its organizers.
Ooh.
Mondo barely appears in this episode. I hope he's in the second one more because I think he's cool. But he is played by Yukimasa Kishino, who we know as the voice of Dr. Warumon in Twin Bee Paradise.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dr. Wawi, but that is good too.
Dr. Wawi. Oh, I love that. That's like my favorite Mega Man media that's ever been made.
It's so good.
My favorite part, because all of the reason it's so weird is because they just used the Japanese actors to do the English voices as well. And my favorite part of the whole thing is a part where the guy playing Dr. Light forgets that he's supposed to be Mega Man and he almost calls him Rockman and they left it in.
There's a lot of stumbling. There's no second takes.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so sweet.
Those early days. People wouldn't accept that kind of acting now, but there's something so charming about it. They should. The days when all the voice acting were being done by, like, Karen in The Office.
Right.
Like, Peach's voice in Mario 64 was just one of the localizers. It wasn't a voice actor.
I mean, we reminisce about the old days all the time on this show.
Well, that's pretty much what this show is, I guess.
We are looking at media from 1996.
Yeah. Oh, in English, Mondo is played by Kim Carell, who played Father in Birdie the Mighty, but is mostly a stage actor and a fight choreographer.
Whoa.
He's also, it looks like, a lecturer at Worcester State University. I looked up how you pronounce it and I forgot. I think that was it. Worcester. I think it's Worcester.
Aren't you supposed to know? Isn't that your people's fault?
It's in New England, not regular England.
I think it came from regular England.
I'll get you for this. Anyway, Sho beats Mondo using his own moves, just like he did to Foe.
Oh no, they're establishing a pattern!
Yeah, I spent a while looking into the games because this really had the feel to me of like the one battle with the enemy who mirrors your moveset, you know?
Yeah.
But I couldn't find any evidence of Toshinden having those battles, so I don't know. It might just be for the anime.
Maybe he just knows a little bit of everybody's moves.
Maybe. When I looked him up on like wikis and stuff, they all said that he has a combination of Eiji and Kayin's moves, as well as a couple of his own. But
I guess they did all train together on Destiny Island.
Yeah, but it didn't say anything about him being able to use anybody else's moves, so I don't know. So if anybody out there is a Toshinden expert, let me know. I'm curious. So Eiji is putting flowers on Kayin's dad's grave. We're told nothing about his dad.
Just that he was murdered.
Yeah, all we know is that he's dead. We don't even know his name.
His name is Father.
Yeah, Kayin shows up to put flowers there too. And this is where we find out that somehow they know that Foe and Mondo have been attacked.
Yeah.
There's some kind of whisper news network for ex-fighters in this tournament.
They're all psychically bonded through the trauma of Toshinden.
Maybe. Somehow they both know that Sho is the one going after them.
Stink is all over it. It's quite obvious.
And Eiji wants to go after Sho alone, but Kayin yells at him for that. Says that even though Sho killed his dad, it doesn't change anything between him and Eiji.
We shared a passionate kiss. You can't stop me from helping you. This is like the most boys love coded romance.
Out of
I
everything,
fully support it.
out of everything we've watched so far, yeah, definitely. We should have a ranking, like how boys love coded were these shows. This is number 1 right now.
Right.
Now we go to a big golden building in a city. If you ever need to know which building the villains are in the city, it's the gold one.
It's the giant one with spires made out of gold.
And here we meet Rungo Iron, who is being woken from unconsciousness by a female voice.
And immediately attacked by chaos.
Yep. Rungo is played by Shinpachi Suji, who we know as Yoda in... not Yoda. Who we know as Zoda in the F-Zero anime.
Yoda!
Shut up!
I mean, it's a space racer. What if one of them was Yoda and a pod racer?
What if they just took Zoda out and replaced him fully with Yoda, but didn't change anything else?
I'd be down for it.
The entire storyline is exactly the same.
Zoda is the one that got frozen from the past and came back as a weird alien, right?
Yep, he's the one that Rick Wheeler is chasing. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that happening for you.
In English, Rongo is played by Greg Wolfe, who played Gim in Record of Lodoss War, Owaru in The Legend of the Four Kings, and I'm unclear if this is pronounced Maze or Maze, but he played the male Maze or Maze in Maze or Maze.
Okay.
It's Japanese, so I assume Maze, but it could be. It's like how I used to assume Pretty Cure was Pretty Cure, and then I found out it was Pretty Cure.
Right.
I just assume things are pronounced Japanesely, and then when they aren't, I'm lost.
Yeah, I get confused sometimes by names like that too.
It could be Maze, or it could just be about a maze. I don't know.
Where is or is not a minotaur when you need one?
Exactly. He'll tell us. So Rongo is worried about his wife and child.
Since he's been stolen in the night and thrown into this chamber.
His storyline was kind of complex and I didn't follow all of it. He was a miner and he was friends with Gaia before the first tournament. And then Gaia mysteriously disappeared. And then Rongo discovered a uranium deposit in the mine. And the organization kidnapped his wife and child to get access to the uranium. They were like, you can have them back if you give us the uranium. And then for some reason he entered the tournament to get them back.
Is that why the queen bad lady is Lady Uranus? Because she stole all the uranium?
I don't think so.
Okay, she's just that extra.
Yeah. But yeah, he's attacked by chaos. Apparently having survived his impaling earlier. A year ago,
I don't know that he survived so much as he was rebuilt.
Okay, I got stuff to say about that.
Okay.
So, there's a bunch of scientists watching the fight. It looks like Rungo is being used to test this reconstructed chaos. So, maybe the original did die. But then, when Chaos defeats Rungo, spoiler alert, Chaos defeats Rungo in the fight, he declares that he's going to have his revenge on Gaia. So, either this is the original Chaos resurrected, or
that's what I'm getting at.
Or it's a new Chaos with the old memories. Or it's a new Chaos who's just been told that Gaia killed the old one.
Well, they're working on something called the Man Machine Project or something. And later in the episode, Sho talks about, he's like, you're so pathetic. You don't even have robot parts inside you like I do. So I think they're just reconstructed with robot parts.
I don't know, because it definitely seemed like Sho is a whole new guy. And not the old Sho. So maybe that's a whole new Chaos too.
Well, he's the final form, maybe. So Sophia is the prototype. And then Chaos, they're actively working out the cake. But the Sho's been out here doing weird things this whole time. I don't know.
They make it pretty clear that Sho is also a test model. These are also like huge spoilers. Sho is a robot,
For
everybody.
20 minutes from now.
Sho's a robot. Just so you know. Anyway, Lady Uranus. I think they call her Lady Uranus.
Uranus.
Yeah. She's here inspecting the whole thing. She's
with her boobies out.
They're not out yet.
She wears the most ridiculous outfits I have ever seen.
She's played by Kikuko Inoue, who we've talked about before because she played Jodie Summer in the F-Zero anime.
Oh.
In English, she's played by Emma Rader, probably another pseudonym because there were no other credits for this person. I don't know who it's a pseudonym for. She is the second in command of the secret organization, and she's the sub-boss of the second game, not the main boss.
Oh.
The second to main boss.
The one you fight before the boss.
And yeah, it's revealed here that she's the one commanding Sho as well. Meanwhile, well, I guess not meanwhile, this must be quite some time later, Eiji is riding his bike through some TV static, and he has a flashback about visiting Rungo. So, yeah, it's got to be like there's like two levels of like sometime later going on here, because we saw Rungo just now get beaten up.
Yes.
And now we're having a flashback to him visiting Rungo after he got beaten up.
I didn't take that as a flashback.
No, it is. It definitely is.
I guess it is very sepia tone.
Yeah, he's on the bike and he has this flashback, and then at the end of the flashback, he gets off the bike. It was an odd place for a flashback, is all I'm saying. It shouldn't have been a flashback, because I was confused about it too.
It shouldn't have been a flashback, because it explains the action moving forward.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because
we both had the same confusion about it. It's just that I went back and looked and I was like, was that a flashback or not?
Because it has Eiji and Kayin being like, I'm gonna go find Sophia, and Kayin's like, I'm gonna go do something different, and that's what they go do! Yeah. That's the next scene!
Yeah, there was no need for it to be told in a flashback.
You didn't have to tinge it yellow!
So yeah, anyway, Rungo is alive, he's badly hurt, his face is all bandaged up, and he's being cared for by his wife and child. Kayin says that if the organization is going after everybody from the previous tournament, that means that Sophia is in danger too. So he tells Eiji to go and protect her. I'm assuming that Sophia is Eiji's love interest, but also so is Ellis.
Neither of those are true. No, we know who his love interest is.
Well,
I'm not buying this heteronormative narrative.
Okay, you're right. But Ellis has an unrequited crush on Eiji. I guess we know why it's unrequited then.
Right.
Rungo's son Christopher asks to go with them too, but he's just a little baby boy.
He's a little baby boy with the most heinous mullet I've ever seen.
Isn't it like braided?
Yes.
Is it still a mullet if it's braided?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still a party in the back and business in front.
I think it's more like a butter churn in the back. So Eiji tells Christopher to stay home and protect his mom, which is a very nice way of saying, you are going to get in our way, you small baby boy.
You're going to get dead, kid.
If you're going to get dead, stay home and get dead with your parents. Eiji arrives at this little town. This is after the flashback now. The flashback ends. And he shows up at this tiny town out in the boonies.
And he beats a bunch of kids at soccer.
Yeah. But no, it felt so, like, Eiji, you have forgotten what you came here for.
Eiji, you are twice their age. Of course you're going to outperform them.
You're supposed to be looking for Sophia to protect her. And
she just happens to be there.
Yeah.
That wasn't even his intention.
Well, no, he went to the right place. He went there looking for her. It's just that he got distracted.
I'm saying at the time.
Oh, right, I see. Yeah, so he plays soccer with these kids until Sophia interrupts. Sophia is played by Yumi Toma, who played Gome-chan in Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai.
Didn't we just talk about her?
We did, because she also played Jun in Tekken.
Yeah.
So she's playing both sides of this.
This feud.
Yeah. She's on both sides of the feud. In English, she was played by Deborah Rabbi, who I know because she was the voice of Shenhua in Shenmue 1.
Oh.
Only in Shenmue 1, though. Shenhua only had a couple lines in Shenmue 1, because you don't actually meet her until Shenmue 2. So her only lines in Shenmue 1 are like, you hear her voice in your dreams a couple times. And that was this girl. She also played Maki and Yuka in Geobreeders. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if I want to.
No. I kind of want to.
She also played the female Maze or Maze in Maze or Maze.
Okay.
And she played Lena in Queen's Blade and Boogie Pop in Boogie Pop Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a very, very abridged version of the story, because Sophia has the most complicated story of all the characters. But
okay.
She was some type of super soldier made by the organization and the KGB. And she escaped Russia with her mother and had her memory wiped. And then she became a private detective and entered the tournament looking for answers to the gaps in her memories. That's her story in the first game.
I got a little distracted.
Yeah, I figured. Looking up Geobreeders.
It is an action comedy manga.
Okay.
Ayagane City has a phantom cat problem. A young and overzealous group of entrepreneurs called Kagura Total Security can be hired to combat this problem for the right price when Hound, the official government arm, isn't enough. However, there are plots and subplots floating beneath the surface, both involving Kagura and the Werecats, led by Kuroneko themselves. Both the manga and the OVAs are heavily action-driven, with gunfights appearing every few chapters.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
It's not porn.
You say that now. But that whole description could still easily apply to porn.
I feel like it would. It would say in the synopsis. It's also a seinen manga.
Well, you haven't.
It's marketed toward young adult men.
You haven't. Oh, well, that means it's definitely porn.
No, marketed towards, not who's actually buying it.
I've read young adult novels. I know what young adult means.
Yeah, because you went out there looking for the naughty ones.
What are you reading?
Higurashi.
Okay.
Not a naughty novel.
Did you finish the naughty novel yet?
No, I haven't touched it in a few weeks.
Okay.
Like, I was telling Kevin as I was reading them simultaneously, I'm like, it's so hard to go from Higurashi, which is pretty well written and extremely engaging and good, to this.
So Sophia is living in this town teaching the children. She pours Eiji some tea, and Eiji warns her about the organization coming. And then, like, at the end of this scene, does she, like, drop a bunch of stuff on the ground, or was it just a dramatic sound? What do we think?
It didn't register as a thing to me, so it's probably just a dramatic sound.
Okay. To me, it sounded like a bunch of stuff falling on the floor, but it also didn't sound like that. So I'll play the sound here, and listeners, you can make your own conclusion.
Because she wasn't holding anything.
No, I know. I know. It just... Did she, like, hear that and sweep everything off the table? I don't know. It just went on for a while. Back at the organization headquarters, Uranus is presenting the Man-Machine project, whose show is apparently a test model of.
He's part man, part robot.
He's a killing machine with regenerative powers. At the end of her presentation, Uranus is informed that Eiji has contacted Sophia, which she seems pretty happy about.
Yeah, because she's a sleeper agent.
Yeah. And here's another thing I was confused about, because we see Eiji meditating, and then everything turns red, and like Sho shows up and they fight, and Sho kills him. And I thought this was like a vision he was having while meditating. But then he wakes up in a bed.
It's called a dream, Mike.
I know, but what? Like, I thought it was just a vision in his meditation. So was the meditation part of the nightmare too? I guess it was just nightmares.
Yes.
Then why did everything turn red?
Because it's dramatic and a dream.
It's just bad storytelling, Mel. It's just unclear.
You're bad storytelling. How is that unclear? If you wake up in a bed, that implies the previous scene was a dream.
Yeah, but the whole thing should have had that red tint. Because he was meditating, and then he goes from his meditation to Sho appearing, and everything gets tinted red at that point.
You're telling me that your dreams always make perfect sense?
I'm telling you, I'm saying that storytelling, visual storytelling is an important...
I don't think that is that hard to follow.
It's just unclear, and it shouldn't be.
It's not unclear. It is trying to intentionally mislead you by starting off normally, but then it's not hard to piece together that the whole thing is a dream.
Oh, piece you together.
You wish. You wouldn't know where anything goes.
I know which ones are the legs.
You don't.
I know. I've seen a book.
I keep telling you, I'm not a book.
Every book I have has legs.
Weird, but okay.
Anyway, he can't sleep, so he goes outside to practice, and Sophia comes out to talk. They have a nice conversation, but she has a little bit of a moment during it.
どうした?
いえ、何でも。
Just a little bit.
And then we see her naked in the shower.
We do. I was a little confused because I was like, would her boobies look like that? It looked like they were heavily to one side.
They're also a lot smaller in the shower than they are in the games. For sure.
I was just distracted by the anatomy.
Yeah, well, I was distracted by the hair, because her hair's wet here, but it also looks shorter.
Yeah, doesn't your hair shrink in the shower?
Also, it looks like a scruffy hay bale.
It does. That was their attempt at making it look wet. Because they also had to make it look sexy. Whereas wet hair is just
It's not sexy.
flat and horrible.
Yeah, but the effect is that it doesn't look wet at all.
Yeah. It looks like it is damp.
Yeah. Like when she tosses it at the end of the shower, I was like, that's not how wet hair moves.
No.
That would have splapped her in the face.
It wouldn't have gone anywhere because it would have been too heavy to lift with a motion like that.
Yeah. Then she enters Eiji's room naked. And we are to believe that she's possessed at this point because we saw Uranus.
Just because she tries to kill him?
No, because we saw Uranus say something about controlling her or some shit. I don't remember.
Also, the attempt at murder.
She walks in naked. She climbs onto Eiji's bed with him. He is not particularly excited, so I think the whole boy love thing probably is the angle.
Yeah.
And she tries to stab him. She tried to initiate sexy time just to stab him.
Who could have seen it coming?
I hate when that happens. It's not a turn on.
Just start with the stabbing.
Yeah. At least then I know what's up.
Can't misread the situation.
It's so embarrassing when you misread that situation. And then, like, the knife comes out and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. This is on me.
But this is for you, just so you know. Are you impressed?
He escapes out the window somehow, and she gets dressed real fast.
They both get dressed real fast.
Oh, yeah, he was shirtless too, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't even take that in. I just took in the fact that she was completely naked and then jumped out the window fully clothed.
They were both in various states of undress, and then the second they hop out the window, they're fully clothed.
Yeah, now that you point it out, it's actually more confusing that he's fully clothed. So they fight for a little bit, and during the fight, Eiji notices that there are tears streaming down her face, and he's like, oh, she's being controlled.
I hate when that happens.
As though he's seen this before.
Yeah.
I'm unclear exactly what happened. I think because she like whips him, and it seems like he just kind of like takes it, and then he gives her a hug, and that breaks the control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying not to fight her.
That's right.
So he just lets her whip him, and then he gives her a hug to be like, I know it's not you.
Yeah, and then she's like, you're right, it's not me, and she falls down.
Yeah, and he defeats evil that way.
Yeah. He should do that to his friend, too. Kayin? That guy.
He's not evil.
No, I know, but he should give him a hug. I actually wanted them to hug earlier when they first met and they did their fight. They just shook hands, and I was like, you two are...
This is a slow burn boys love.
When they shook hands, I was like, you two are clearly close enough to be doing a hug right now. Stop being so man about it.
It's Japan. They don't do hugs.
I'll hug you, Japan.
I'll hug each and every one of you.
I'm gonna go... When I get to Japan, y'all better watch out.
I'm gonna make you extremely uncomfortable and cross your physical boundaries.
I'm gonna hug every single store greeter I see.
And get escorted out and then kidnapped by a man and put in an ice skating rink.
And I'll hug him too. What was his name? His name was Jun, right? I think.
Yeah.
So Sho appears, and Eiji fights him too, and he loses. But he says that when their swords met, he felt the spirit within Sho and realized it wasn't the real Sho.
It's a robot!
It's a robot! And Sophia interferes, and Sho blasts her away, calling her a prototype. And that gives Eiji the righteous fury he needs to win the fight. And he shonen protagonists his way to victory.
Yeah, do it, Eiji.
He just, like, stands there and takes the most powerful attack, and then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna slice you to ribbons.
Yeah.
And he does it.
That's how you do it when you're a cool dude.
And Sho is all freaking... He starts behaving like a child. And he calls out to Uranus for help, and she just pierces him with an arrow that explodes him.
Mummy, come save me.
He's dust now. He's dust in the wind.
He exploded. What a loser.
But she's like, never mind, I got all the data I needed. She just needed Eiji's emotions at their feverish pitch.
Yeah, she needed him to shonen protagonist.
Yeah, so she could get the data about it.
She's floating there in her freaking weird armor.
Yeah. She was naked too earlier when she was controlling Sophia. She was in a chair naked as well. So do you think she had to get naked for Sophia to get naked?
I do think that that's canon.
Yeah, okay.
It's VR, so she had to do the same things to get her avatar to get naked.
Right. So she's just in there like taking off all her clothes. Her employees are like, what is she doing? You know, does she know that she could just mime taking the clothes off and it would work the same?
No, VR isn't that advanced yet.
She had to get into the system wearing the same clothes that Sophia was wearing. It's the only way it would work.
Right, if she went in that getup she started the show in, it never would have worked.
So yeah, Uranus says that she used Sho and Sophia specifically because that would upset Eiji the most. And that's what she needed. She needed him all mad. She's
gonna run her robots off of shonen protagonist energy.
Sophia's fine. I mean, she's upset, but she's okay. She's unhurt. Back at the lab, Uranus looks over Chaos in a stasis tank of some kind. I guess this whole thing is just to perfect Chaos.
I guess. Why is he such a big deal?
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of annoying and dumb.
Yeah.
He's like Chai.
Yeah. He has a similar fashion sense to Uranus, though.
That felt like an insult to me.
Yeah, but that's because you're always thinking about your own butt. That's where your head is.
She says that now Chaos is going to be ready to kill Gaia, the traitor to the organization. I wonder where he's at.
I don't know. We haven't found out yet, because we're going to visit a clown girl.
Yeah, I really thought that scene with Uranus and Chaos was the end of the episode, because it had a real, like, conclusionary vibe to it.
Right.
And this little scene tacked on the end here feels extra.
Yeah, it feels like it should have been in the other order.
Or this should have been the opening of the next episode, maybe.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, Kayin has arrived at a circus looking for Ellis, who's here playing with knives. Ellis is played by Kyoko Hikami, who played Dormin in Shadow of the Colossus. That's the like kind of demon thing that you're making a deal with to resurrect your dead girlfriend.
Oh.
She also played Tsubaki in Sakura Wars. She is the voice of Wedding Peach. She played Erika in Pokemon. And she played Amber in the first Pokemon movie. That's the little girl who was fully cut from the English version.
Weird.
The girl that Mewtwo was created to like save the life of, basically, but who died before Mewtwo was finished.
Oh darn, now we just have this psychic cat for no reason.
And she played Rabi and Rose in DG Carrot. DG Carrot? I don't know. Sharrett. Maybe it's
Unclear.
Sharrett. I don't know. I don't know that series.
I've heard of it.
In English, Ellis is played by Lisa Ortiz, who we've talked about before, because she's the voice of Amy in Sonic X.
Oh.
A lot of 4Kids actors in this show.
Yeah, that seems to be a common theme.
Yeah. So Ellis is an orphan who was raised in the circus after her entire family were killed in a car crash. She was friends with Eiji and Kayin before the tournament, and she entered the first tournament with them.
Just for funsies?
Yeah, I guess so. Because she has a crush on Eiji. I guess she just follows him around.
Why would you go through a fighting tournament just because you have a crush on some guy?
Well, obviously you've never had a crush this big. Otherwise you'd get it. I don't think that she knows it yet at this point, but it is later revealed that her father also survived the car crash and is Gaia.
Oh no!
So the crash was organized by Uranus, who was trying to climb the ranks of the company by taking out her competition within the company. Gaia then left Ellis at the circus for her own safety and started working to bring the company down from within to avenge his wife and son, who really did die in the crash.
Mm-hmm.
So Ellis's boss is making her throw knives at him.
Yeah. She's practicing, and he just wants to prove how good she is.
I love that he has so much faith in her, and we're shown that it's misplaced.
Well, that's only because she got startled. Kayin walks in right as she throws the knives.
Yeah, there should really be some kind of like something in place to stop that happening. She shouldn't be doing this right next to the entrance, maybe.
I think that's the joke.
Great. Good job.
Well, you're over here trying to talk about what to do to prevent it. Like, we could just write the whole joke out of the episode. How about that, Mr. No Fun Half Pants Man?
Isn't nitpicking this show like our entire shtick?
No.
Okay. Well, she almost killed her boss.
He's fine.
He dodged it, but if he hadn't dodged it, he would have had a knife in each arm and 2 knives in his head.
I mean, yeah. What's the issue?
I mean, yeah, he is a boss. He's the final boss.
Yeah. Of the circus.
So Eiji's on a mountain being dramatic, and he leaps in the air and twirls for some reason, and that's the end of the episode.
And then we get the best part of the episode, which is the complete tonal shift that is the ending theme.
Yeah, it's really out of place. I liked it.
'I loved it.
But I don't know why it's this. Why is it this?
I don't know. It almost sounded like the voice actress for Ellis.
Yeah, I think it probably was. Because I'm pretty sure she had done a bunch of like theme songs for different anime as well.
Well, then it's like the Mario movie. They got a singing voice actress and put her song in
I
it.
kind of forgot they did that. Yeah, that was good. What did you think of the show?
It's fine. It's another confusing fighty man show.
I really liked the way it looked, but
Yeah.
I just really liked that kind of era of anime. And this wasn't like a low budget. You could see that they'd put money into the animation on this. It was really good. The story was whatever. I don't know. But I liked some of the characters.
Yeah. It's that fragmented fighting game story style.
Yeah.
That makes for a confusing thing to watch with your eyeballs.
Yeah. I would watch the second one.
I probably wouldn't.
The dub was licensed by US Manga Corps, a division of Central Park Media. You could probably guess from the name, but they were New York based.
Yeah.
Which explains all the 4Kids actors appearing in this. This is probably pre-4Kids. I don't know if 4Kids had been established yet. It's definitely pre-Pokemon. This was probably them like getting their start. But Central Park Media were one of the first distributors of Asian media to the US. And they were notable for helping to popularize hentai in America.
Oh no! New York, this is your fault!
They were also the first to bring Grave of the Fireflies to the US, apparently.
So they made everybody horny and depressed.
Sounds like New York to me. So they released 2 versions of this on VHS. A PG-13 version, which cut some of the violence and all of the nudity. And an uncut version that had everything.
I knew it. I knew it.
Apparently, this was the first anime DVD that Central Park Media released. And it may have been the first anime ever released on DVD in the West.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
This?
Yeah. The DVD release only included the uncut version, so...
Boo. Bring back the boobies.
No, it only had the version with the boobies.
Oh, I misheard.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the boobies.
The dub is pretty good, to be honest. It predates the development of anime voice.
Oh, yeah.
So all the characters just sound like people, which is nice.
Not a bad fight, but I'm still better than you'll ever be, Eiji.
Nice to see you too.
I love that. I love an anime where people are just doing normal human voices instead of trying to sound like they're taking a shit every moment.
No, I demand overacting.
It's not the overacting that's the problem for me. It's the constant straining.
You're a constant strain.
Only on you.
Yeah. That's the part I take umbrage with.
Well, too bad. You signed up for this.
I can quit anytime I want.
You can't quit me, I'm fired.
Go on, get.
The reveal of Sho being fake is a little bit unclear in the dub. Because instead of saying that he realized Sho was fake because he didn't have Sho's spirit, Eiji says,
"They've taken your soul away from you."
Which to me implies it's the real Sho.
Yeah, it's a little ambiguous.
Yeah. But when Uranus shows up afterwards, she makes it clear that it was just an android made to look like Sho. So I guess they clear it up. Just unclear in the moment.
So where's the real Sho?
Oh, he's out there, and he's gonna show himself in episode 2.
Boo.
Because I believe, I mean, I don't know. I didn't look too deeply into it, but I believe the real Sho is out there and is not a villain and has been like quietly observing his brother from a distance throughout both tournaments.
Just watching him get attempted murdered.
Yeah, and refusing to intervene for reasons that we don't understand. Possibly because he's on the run for murder. But maybe it's a murder he didn't commit. I don't actually know. I haven't looked into it. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
We gotta get Phoenix right on the case.
Well, only if he is innocent.
We defended one guilty person once.
Only until Maya was saved.
Still, we took him on as a client.
That's true. Did we? We didn't know when we took him on.
No.
No, you find out like halfway through.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. What if they did just put in more like actually guilty people and they're just unwinnable cases.
Well, unwinnable cases is not a great look for a video game.
No.
But we do need some more guilty clients.
Yeah. But they have to find more interesting ways to do that.
Yeah.
What if there's a case where your client just changes halfway through?
Like a shapeshifter?
No. No, Mel. I mean, you just get a new client.
I feel like that happened?
Did it? I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I haven't played all of them
either.
yet. But that I think that could be interesting if you're like defending the wrong person in the beginning and then you find out there's someone that you've been putting suspicion onto was actually innocent and then you start defending them instead. We shouldn't be talking about Phoenix Wright on this Battle Arena Toshinden episode.
I want to talk about Phoenix Wright. I like Phoenix Wright.
Well, maybe we should watch another episode of that then. We should watch another episode of The Asexual Attorney.
Bad. Dumb.
You're bad and dumb.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You hired me, so what does that say about you?
I'm bad and dumb as well. What do you want me to say? You made me this way.
You are 4 years older than me.
I know,
you
and I was
came
fine.
This way.
No, I was fine before I met you. Everybody said so.
Oh, right. This tiny little infant baby came and corrupted you.
Tiny little infant baby. You weren't a tiny little infant baby when I found you.
I was one of those things.
Okay, you've always been tiny and little, but you weren't an infant baby.
I was an infant.
Stop infantilizing yourself. Okay, are you going to ask me about the legacy?
No, I'm not.
Good, because I don't think there is anything. If there is, I don't know about it. I mean, this series died in 1999.
Poor Toshinden. Didn't stand a chance.
It's pretty impressive that they managed to get 4 main series games out in just 5 years.
And an OVA.
And an OVA, yeah. Actually, I guess it was just 4 years if the last one was 1999. The series spanned 4 years and got 4 games.
Pretty impressive.
I mean, the first 2 games both came out in 1995. This one came out in January, and then the second one came out in November. It's like some Five Nights at Freddy's shit.
Just churning them out one after the other.
Well, I'm done.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this, Battle Arena Toshinden fans.
If you're out there.
They're out there. They're always out there.
Yeah, but will they answer our call?
I feel like it's always the weird, obscure games that we get the most views on. Because there's no other Toshinden stuff out there, so they all come to everything that ever gets made.
They have a scrubber running to trawl the internet for any new mentions of Toshinden.
Yeah, this is my special interest, and I need to know everything that happens about it.
There's a new Toshinden! Oh, it's a stupid podcast.
I was going to argue with your use of stupid podcast, but I guess by design this is a stupid podcast.
What do you mean by design?
I mean, I wanted it to be stupid. That was
in the pitch.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, on this stupid show.
Don't say that. Then they'll think they're stupid people for being here.
No, you have to be quite intelligent to appreciate something stupid.
That sounded like a real Rick and Morty type quote.
I tell myself that all the time. If you'd like to support this show for some reason, you could go to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and join our current VIPs, Jamie Core and Mark Kelly, or our Club Mesmeron, Marley the Changeling.
The one and only Mesmeron.
Unless...
Care to be a Mesmeron?
I'm Skull Pirate Mike, and you can find me on the internet as Skull Pirate Mike. I Twitch, I Blue Sky, I do things with my hands.
Cool.
Come and say hi. Mel?
Yeah, that's me. Don't look for me, I'm not there. Maybe if you lift a rock, you'll see me scurry back into the shadows, but That's about it. I will sting you.
Bye. I got deja vu from the lift a rock part. I feel like you've said that before, but the sting part took me off guard.
I don't know if I've ever used lift a rock, but I use things like if you turn on a light, you'll hear me scuttle under a fridge or something like that.
Okay.
I like to really evoke imagery that I am a horrible bug.
Yeah, I felt like you were a scorpion that time.
I was going for bite, but because I use sting interchangeably for everything in my life, that's what came out.
Okay.
Because I think sting is a really funny verb that doesn't get enough usage.
It's a pretty good one, yeah.